Welcome everyone. I'll just give people a few more seconds just to join us. It's great that so many of you are joining us for this session. Welcome especially to anybody who's coming inquiring about Haywards Heath. This presentation is going to apply to Worthing and to Haywards Heath. We've reached 200. I think we're expecting over 300. When I persuaded some of my colleagues to join this session, I said, well, we might get maybe 30 or 40 people joining us. And I feel slightly guilty now that the number has shot up, but it's great that there are so many of you with us. Okay, I think I'll make a start. There might be a few people joining us late, but let's make a start. So welcome, everybody. My name is Ross Furman. I'm Assistant Principal at Worthing College, and I'm responsible for student services, so all the kind of different support services that we have here. The session is about the support we offer in the Chichester College Group, and it applies equally to Worthing and to Haywards Heath College. As you probably know, our mission is to change lives through learning, and we really strongly believe that no student should be prevented by their support needs from achieving their full potential when they're at the college. So support for students really is at the heart of everything we do. We like to think that we're a friendly and inclusive college or colleges, and we really want students to feel able just to talk to us about what their support needs are. Okay, next slide please. So this is just a quick overview of the topics we're going to cover. I'm going to share the presentation out with some of my colleagues. We've got about 15 minutes. Do feel free to use the Q&A function if you want to ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer them either at the end or if we can as we go along. I'm going to hand over first of all to Laura Hobbs, who's one of our senior tutors, to talk about tutorial support. Laura.
Thanks, Ross. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. As Ross said, I'm one of the senior tutors based at Worthing College. It will be a similar format across Haywards Heath and Worthing, but every student's allocated a personal tutor when they come to college. And we're the first port of call for any questions or concerns or any issues that you might be having. If we don't know the answer, we can usually point you to somebody who does. Next slide, please. So the way we work is we're a critical friend. So we offer support, and that can be if you're having any issues, whether it's to do with college or anything that's emotional or health and well-being wise. We also help you with your study habits. We can also give you guidance. So if it's that you want to apply to university perhaps when you leave, or that you maybe want to go and do an apprenticeship or work instead, we can help you make those decisions. We also offer monitoring on your progress at college. So we look at things like your attendance, we look at whether or not you're up to date with your work and if there's any concerns or issues there, and we help you to get back on track. And we also deliver a tutorial programme. So it's called ACES, which stands for Attitudes, Choices, Employment and Skills. And it's designed to get you thinking holistically about your learning journey. So not just the skills that you need for college, but what you're going to need in the future too. We'll move on to some of our frequently asked questions. Thanks. So who is my personal tutor and how do I contact them? Well, you will meet them in your first tutorial session. You'll get to know them there, and you'll also be able to email them or come up to Progression Plus to arrange an appointment. We then have a question about when do you get your timetable issued? So that will be ready for the start of term in September, once you've enrolled and once you've been inducted and everything's finalised, ready for the start of term. And then the next two questions are kind of similar. We do have a timetable help desk at the start of term, and that deals with any queries or concerns that students might have. We do try and be as flexible as we can, but we also need to consider if the requests are reasonable. So that's something that you would discuss there or with your tutor at the start of term. And I think that's probably all I need to say at the moment about the tutor group. So I'll pass you back to Ross. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Right, we're going to move on now. We're going to learn about our additional support service, and I'm going to introduce Ros Stillwell-Carey, who's the team leader for that service. Can we have the next slide, please, Megan?
Thank you, Ross. Morning, everyone. My name's Ros Stillwell-Carey. I'm team leader for additional learning support. Our focus is to provide students with additional needs, support with their learning, their social needs and well-being. Students can come in at any time and ask a question about support, or you can make an appointment to come back and talk to us at more length if that's what you would prefer. You can see on the slide that we offer support for things like dyslexia and autism, ADHD, and also for those with mental health and wellbeing difficulties. We also oversee screening for access arrangements and any assessments that are needed. So if you have had or were due to have extra time at school, or a scribe or a reader, then it's my department that will help you get all that in place. Also, if you need access to counselling or external support agencies, we can help you with that if you feel that that's something you need. Thank you, Megan. Next slide. So you can see three of us on the screen there. I'm on the left, and I oversee and coordinate all additional learning support for students, including transition from schools for students with learning needs and those with the HCPs. I liaise with the schools and the local authority to ensure the transitions are smooth ones and students feel happy and confident about joining us. I'm the point of contact if a support need crops up mid-year, and I liaise with teachers and the team about the best way forward with that. Georgie, in the middle there, she provides targeted dyslexia support and support with students with autism. This includes one-to-one and small group work out of class. She'll be doing some social groups as well, and that's all fitted around a student's timetable, so it doesn't impact on their classroom learning in any way. Jenna is the key person to see for issues surrounding mental health and other pastoral issues. She has really strong links with external agencies, and so she's there to ensure that the right wellbeing support is found in the right place. Jenna also coordinates our counselling service. The LSAs, named down the side, they mainly work in class, supporting either one-to-one or more generally with those with additional needs. They work very closely with the teaching staff to ensure class teaching is accessible for all. Sarah also is a member of our team, and she supports the team admin and is the key person to ask about the learning support grant, which Ross will talk about at the end of the presentation. Thank you, Megan. Next slide. So here are a few questions that people often ask about additional learning support. I'm worried about my first day at college. Can I have some support? Yes, we're more than happy to offer you some support right at the beginning of the year. You can contact us via the college email address, and the request will get passed on to me. We can arrange for somebody to meet you at the front entrance and accompany you to your first lesson, or just spend some time in the department while you're getting used to your new environment. Also, how do I access counselling? We have self-referral forms. You can find those on the student intranet, or we can provide you with one. If you fill it in, and there's a post box outside our counselling room. It's all confidential, or if you'd prefer, you can leave it with us and we will deal with it for you, and then you'll be contacted to arrange an initial assessment. And can I get financial help? Yes, we have the learning support grant, which Ross will talk about further towards the end. Thank you. Next slide. So that's just a little snapshot of our department. That's the comfy area you can see. We're a very welcoming, inclusive department. We have lots of learning resources available, leaflets and signposting to external agencies. You can come to us about anything, and we're more than happy to chat with you and take the time to get to know you a bit better and help you with anything else that you need. Okay, I think that's it from me. Back to Ross.
Thank you, Ros. Okay, and then finally, we're going to just give you a brief overview of our career service, which is called Progression Plus. And to do that, we've got Sharon Vincent. Over to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Ross. Hello, everybody. So yeah, as Ross correctly said, our career service across the Chichester College Group is called Progression Plus. Here at college, we're a team of 5. On the screen at the moment are some of the ways in which we support students, some of the services that we offer. The main point that I want to make is that we are open all year round. You don't have to wait until any particular point in the year in order to access the careers service. And we do run drop-ins every lunchtime. So we're very accessible and have an open door, and you're always welcome to come up and speak to us about any of your career or progression needs. Next slide, please, Megan. So on the screen at the moment are logos from lots of different organisations that students had access to this academic year. It's not an exhaustive list, it just highlights lots of different employers that came to speak at our Careers Inspiration Day. We also invite speakers into lessons. Lots of the universities come and speak in college, and we also arrange trips to universities as well. So that screen just highlights just a range of different employers and higher education institutes that we have contact with. We do organise lots of events, making sure that you have these opportunities throughout the year. And the next slide, please, Megan. Lastly, I just wanted to say we are very active on Facebook. So lots of opportunities come through to us, and we find it's a really quick way to get that message out to students, where there's part-time work, apprenticeship opportunities, lots and lots is happening on there at the moment. So if you look for Progression Plus Worthing and like and follow our pages, we are starting up on Instagram, so the page is there, you can find it, and hopefully as of September, all the opportunities will be on there as well. Okay, thank you. I'll pass back to Ross. You're on mute, Ross.
Thank you, Sharon. So just one more message from me, which is about financial support. So we do offer financial support to students where there is a low family income, or where families are in receipt of certain benefits. It's called the Learning Support Grant, and it's something which we want all students and parents and carers to be aware of. We don't want anybody to be prevented from studying because of financial pressures. Okay. So you can see there that the kinds of help which it does provide with. We have a large number of students who receive this grant. There's probably around about 200 students at Worthing, for example. So it's very widely taken advantage of. It's particularly relevant for families where the income is below £32,000 a year, or they are in receipt of certain benefits. To get more information, do go to the Worthing College website. To apply, you need to complete an online application, which will be released at the beginning of August. So we will email all applicants and all parents and carers just before it opens to let you know that you can now complete your application. And then we will look to try and get those arrangements in place for the start of term in September. And that is the end of the things that we wanted to say to you, but it is a chance now to just to answer any questions you've got. I can see there's a question there about somebody's worried about finding their classrooms on the first day, which is not unusual at all. And we do help with that with some students. Ros, do you want to say something about that? If you just put your mic on.
Sorry, Ross, can you repeat the question? I was just answering another one.
Are students worried about finding their classrooms on the first day?
Okay, yeah, so if you're worried about navigating your way around the college, we can arrange to meet you either in our department or at the front entrance, and we can walk you to your classroom. We can do that more than once, absolutely fine, for the first week or so until you get used to the college. I'm sure we can also, if it's suitable for you, print off a map of the college so that you have a visual of the layout of the college. It seems like quite a big place, but I'm sure you'll get used to it quite quickly. We're more than happy to walk with you around the college. That's fine.
Okay, there's a question about whether there's a chance to change subjects before the start of term, which is an important one, and one which does get asked quite a lot. There certainly is. You will be getting your exam results on the 13th of August. We would then be meeting with you individually in order to enrol you at college. And as part of that enrolment discussion, we can certainly discuss changing your courses, and it's quite common for course changes to be made at that point, partly because we don't know what GCSE results we're going to get necessarily, so sometimes changes are needed for that reason. Okay, but if you wanted to kind of make a head start on that, then you can just go ahead and email our admissions coordinator, and we can contact you before then. We'd be happy to give you a telephone call and have a conversation if you wanted to talk about it before September. Somebody else asked whether the enrolment will be in person or whether it be remote. We're currently planning on a kind of a mixed model. Normally for enrolment, we have about 200 people in our biggest room. It's very busy, actually wouldn't be appropriate with COVID. So we're expecting to do the first stage of enrolment by telephone for the majority of students, but for students who've got additional support needs, we would expect to do those enrolments face-to-face. And then the second stage is that everybody comes in order to get certain essential induction experiences, and that would be in smaller, more manageable numbers. Would anybody else like to pick out a question from the ones which are coming through?
Yeah, somebody has put in a question about, will I still get support even though I haven't been officially diagnosed with dyslexia? The answer is yes. Lots of students have difficulties with their literacy, and even though there may not be support in class for you, we're happy to talk to you out of class and introduce you to different resources to help you with your literacy. I also have we have coloured paper and overlays, that sort of thing that we can provide you. If you had access arrangements, then make sure that we know about that so we can get that in place here at college. And also I have a colleague called Georgie who is going to be doing some targeted dyslexia support. You don't need to have an official diagnosis. So we can get you all the help you need with that, and liaise with your teachers as well if there's anything that needs to be changed in class for you.
Thanks, Ros. A couple of questions about when enrolment's taking place. So the dates for enrolment for the vast majority of students will be from the 2nd to the 4th of September. Okay, so some of you, well, you should already have been received a date for your enrolment, but we will be sending out a reminder of those dates over the summer holidays. So you'll get an email reminder of when we're expecting to enroll you from the 2nd through to the 4th of September. Would somebody else like to pick a question?
Somebody's asked about, will the college offer work experience places as part of the careers programme? We absolutely do. We have a really strong focus on work experience. This year we don't anticipate having any students in placement before January. Most of the time students undertake work placements in the summer term anyway. Some of our vocational courses do start much earlier, and there will be a delay to it this year, but yes, definitely work experience is something that all year 12s are required to do.
Okay, another question about just their anxiety about making friends at the start of college if you don't live near the college. So try not to worry about that. You won't be the only person in that situation. We do draw students, and I'm sure this is true of Haywards Heath as well, we do draw students from quite a wide geographical area. There are, most students find that kind of being in those A-level classes for hours each week is really the best way of meeting new people and making friends, and teachers will obviously be encouraging and expecting students to work together in groups and in pairs and to kind of collaborate. That's an expectation in the first half term. So that's probably the main way in which most students will make friends. But there are other opportunities as well. There's lots of enrichment. There's lots of clubs and societies which you can join if you want to try and meet like-minded people. Okay, we've probably got time for a couple more questions.
I think there's been quite a few coming up sort of around mental health, anxiety, stress, those types of things. I mean, the answer is yes. Obviously, the tutor team and student advice and support, between us, we do offer support for students. We offer a listening service, but we also have a counselling service, as Ros mentioned. But also, if it's just a case of having a bit of a quiet space to kind of get yourself sorted and talk to somebody. And then, we liaise with teachers as well to make them aware of any concerns or issues that you might have, just to see if there's any reasonable adjustments that we can make in class.
There's a couple of questions about who to contact if they want support in the first week or so. Ross, is it okay to get people to email the info@Worthing address, and then emails can be forwarded on to me? And then we'll be happy to make, so that we're aware of who you are, and we can come to some arrangement as to how you want those first few days to look.
Yeah, the address is info@worthing.ac.uk. When in the 2 years will I be expected to apply for uni? Good question. So you've got a little bit of time because the applications for university have to go in the autumn term of year 13, so your second year. So we would encourage you to use your first year to do your research, go on some visits to open days, go on 1 or 2 of the college trips to universities and work out what it is you want to do. And then at the end of the summer term in year 12, we ask you to start drafting your personal statement and putting together your subject choices and your university choices. Yeah, you've got until the end of November in year 13. Okay, I'm aware of time. I think we probably need to finish because I know there's another seminar due to start in about 8 minutes. So thank you very much, all of you, for your questions and for your attention. Hope that's been useful, and we look forward to seeing you all in a couple of months' time. Thank you.